Hi guys, welcome back or welcome to DreamWorks Switch to Life, and for today's video we are going to be reviewing the first TV show of the Kung Fu Panda franchise, that of course being Kung Fu Panda Legends of Awesomeness, which actually is currently holding the title for the longest TV show DreamWorks has ever made. Well, it's tied with The Penguins of Madagascar. Both of those shows are made by Nickelodeon, by the way, with a total of 80 episodes, but yeah, with 80 episodes under its belt, this series is really good, and I loved it, but there are some drawbacks to it, and I'm going to mention those, and I'm not going to really dive into very many spoilers, but with that out of the way, here's my review for The Legends of Awesomeness. Overall, a really great series that serves as a point between the first and second movie, although in reality there are a couple of episodes that specifically mention the events of the second movie. So while most of the episodes do take place in between the first and second movie, there are a couple, or I guess a few, that take place in between the second and third movie, but the entire series takes place before the third movie, if that helps. Which is kind of confusing when trying to fit this show into a timeline, and even more confusing is the fact that this show isn't really consistent. What I mean by that is there's not really a specific way to watch this episode. You could watch it via production number or release date, and you would still find inconsistencies in terms of where each episode is placed. It's so weird, and I don't really like it. I like that you can just hop onto a random episode without knowing anything that happened in any of the others, and you'd still be able to understand the plot. But at the same time, it comes at the cost of creating a consistent timeline. It's so weird, and I hate it. And it's another thing about the show that I hate is the animation quality. It is literally the worst animation that we've ever seen from the Kung Fu Panda franchise. I will admit it's still good in its own way, but it is still the worst thing we've seen from Kung Fu Panda. Another thing that's the worst is the voice acting. I will admit they did have some pretty good voice actors, particularly with Mick Wingett. It's kind of hard to get Jack Black's voice, but I felt like they aced it. Most of the other characters, however, with the exception of James Hong and Lucy Liu, are played by brand new actors who don't really embody the characters in the way that the movies did or the shorts. This series has the worst voice acting I've ever seen from any of the Kung Fu Panda media. So this series has a lot going for it in terms of it being the worst, but I blame that more on the budget and the fact that this show wasn't even made by DreamWorks Animation or DreamWorks Animation Television. It was made by Nickelodeon, with DreamWorks just saying, yeah, we're in charge of our characters, so you gotta follow a script that we have, but you guys can make the show however you want. But hey, at least the music is good. It's not memorable like the movies or the short films, but it's good. It's not annoying at all, which I guess in a way is good in its own right, but again, still the worst thing in the franchise. Now, does that mean that Legends of Awesomeness is the worst show or even the worst installment in the franchise? No, actually. I love Legends of Awesomeness. It is great and amazing, and it's honestly my 7th favorite thing about the franchise. I love it. It's so good because there are like individual stories that either showcase Poe's character growth, villain growth, or backstories that we learn about the Furious Five and other members of the Jade Palace. Because honestly, one of my favorite parts is that this is the one time in the entire franchise where they've actually acknowledged that they named the Furious Five after animals, not gave them actual names.
No, I am a monkey, so obviously my name can't be Monkey, right?
I couldn't stand it if my name were just what kind of animal I am.
Like, crane, mantis, monkey, viper, and tigress I can slide with, but the other three, not so much. I actually loved the story for most of the episodes. There were a couple that were bad, but all in all, the stories of the episodes had some excellent writing, and I loved watching them. Not to mention the lore. The lore behind this franchise is so cool, especially when you look at Legends of Awesomeness, because one of these days I am going to make a lore-focused video, and Legends of Awesomeness will probably end up taking like 50% of it. And that's really great. Sadly, there is a couple of problems. Most importantly, the stories are a bit simplistic. I will admit, some of the writing for the episodes are great, but most of it either falls into the good, and there are a few episodes that are straight up bad. I'm not going to mention them. You can find them out for yourselves. But my personal favorite episode is Enter the Dragon, which showcases a lot of lore for Kung Fu Panda, and it's really great to see. I'm going to give some spoilers here for the entire series, but there's so much lore that this series brings up, and that includes the family relations of the Furious Five. We get some really cool villains who are much better than Boar, but not as good as any of the movie counterparts. And I believe my favorite episode, being Enter the Dragon, has the best lore implications ever. The world was once run by demons until Oogway used the hero's chi to send demons to the spirit realm, where they would remain imprisoned until the peach tree blossom dies, which ended up becoming a whole thing. So now Po, who is the current dragon warrior and the holder of the hero's chi, has to fight Ki Pa, the demon king, and he has to use his own peach blossom tree, or I guess peach blossom sapling, which was actually planted in the very first film. It's amazing to see that kind of thing. So in terms of other stuff, I recommend you go watch this series for yourself. You can find most of it streaming on Paramount Plus, or you can buy it on Vudu or some other means. I don't know. If you really want to, you can just go try to find it. But at the end of the day, do I consider this the best show that Kung Fu Panda has put out? No, it's the worst TV show, but it is still really great, and I highly recommend it because it's definitely worth watching. Of course, it's not necessary to watch, but still. And that's it for today's video. If you enjoyed my review of Legends of Awesomeness, please sure to like and subscribe so you can keep up to date on all things DreamWorks. And if you have seen the show, make sure to comment your favorite episode down below in the comments section. I love hearing from you guys, and I would love to hear some ideas for future videos that you would like me to make. But more importantly, make sure that you are all staying safe out there, and I will see you all in my next video. But until then, bye-bye.
Wait, what?
Want to see it again?
Hey,
I can keep doing this all day.